everyone! Today we are going to learn about plants, or more specifically, their movements. Come on!
Out here we are surrounded by plants. They can range from small ferns to large trees. Although they can range greatly in size, all types of plants share traits. One of these traits is tropism, or plants' response to specific stimulus, which results in growth. In case you didn't know, stimulus is basically anything that provokes a functional reaction in an organ or tissue.
Have you ever wondered why plants seem to bend towards light or why roots grow downward? This is all due to tropism, which is very important. Because plants cannot change where they are planted, they use tropism to alter their growth and adjust themselves to their environments. Tropic responses are due to differential growth. But enough about this. Let's start to dive in deeper. It's time for phototropism.
Trust me, phototropism is awesome. It can be defined as the plant's response to light, and it proves that plants demonstrate growth, response to stimuli, and adaptation. It's like magic. Except in this case, the magic is auxin. Auxin is a plant hormone that is produced in the meristematic tissue that causes cell elongation. It is also used in morphogenesis, which is the development of characteristics that relate to structure. Here's a cool fact. Auxin was the first plant hormone to ever be discovered and studied. Ever seen a sunflower? If you were looking at a field of sunflowers, you would notice that they're all facing towards the sun. This is due to phototropism. Auxin accumulates in cells on the side of the plant away from light, causing the cells to elongate on the side away from the sun. Auxin also interacts with other hormones in the plant in order to regulate growth and development. Fun fact about sunflowers, they've traveled to space. In 2012, an astronaut brought one with him on a spaceship. Phototropism really is out of this world. And not only do plants have response to light in general, they have a response to light color. The color of a light has measurable impact on the amount of energy a plant absorbs. This is because different colors of light have different wavelengths, which cause different amounts of energy. Purple is actually the color with the shortest wavelength, which means it gives off the most energy. How cool is that? Not only does light color affect plant growth, the amount of light does too. An important part of phototropism is threshold value. This relates to the fact that plants need a minimum amount of light in order to react chemically and grow. Now over to Cece.
The next type of tropism after phototropism is gravitropism. Its name sounds very similar to what it is. It's the response to gravity. Again, the magical hormone auxin is present in this reaction. The auxin accumulates or gathers near the lower end of the plant. Also, the effect of auxin all depends on the type of tissue it's taking place in, such as a stem or in the root. In the stem, auxin causes a downward growth. When the stem grows upward, it is referred to as negative gravitropism because gravity normally has the effect or force of attracting an object or organism into the center of the earth. But when the roots grow downward, it is considered positive tropism because the roots are growing into the direction of gravity. Fun fact time. Did you know that scientists ran an experiment on the fail crest by bringing it to space? It was wild. And when scientists brought the fail crest to space, they found that this plant did not need gravity to grow and flourish. I know, it's crazy. The last type of tropism that we are talking about today is called thigmotropism. Its name sounds long and complicated, but I can assure you it is not. Thigmotropism is a plant's response to a touch stimulus or an object in their way of growth. Yet again, auxin is presented in this type of tropism, and it stimulates the growth of a plant. One example of thigmotropism in a plant is the coiling of some tendrils. A tendril is a part or appendage of a plant that resembles a slim thread. When a tendril senses an object, thigmotropism allows it to grow away from the object by coiling or curling up. After this thigmotropic process, the tendril ends up resembling a telephone cord or a ringlet of hair. However, the process of thigmotropism doesn't only affect the stem or the leaves of flowers of plants, but it also affects the roots of the plants as well. If a root is growing below the soil and there is a rock in its way of growth, thigmotropism allows it to grow around the rock so the growth process isn't interrupted. This is very beneficial to the plant because it doesn't stop or damage the development and growth of the plant. Here's another fun fact. Did you know that some plants are actually more sensitive to touch than humans? I know, it's crazy. Now, next time you think about stepping on a plant that may be in your way, remember that it has feelings too. We will talk about a different type of movement with Taylor right
now. It's time for monastic movements. You may be surprised, but you probably already know what monastic movements are. Here's an example, Venus flytrap. By now, you know what tropism is. Monastic movements are very similar to tropism, but have one big difference. It's not related to growth. Let's talk about turgor pressure. Have you ever seen a dying plant? Did you realize that its leaves were wilting or that it was bent over? This is because it did not have enough water. Plants need a certain amount of pressure, which is provided by water, in order to make sure that their cell walls stay rigid. When cell walls do not have enough water, it results in plasmolysis, meaning that the solutes in water are not balanced. So basically, turgor pressure is the pressure put onto plants by cell walls by water, which is passing into the cell. Venus flytraps control their turgor pressure and use it in order to deflate their cells by dehydrating them so they can close in on their prey. Can you believe that some plants can compress their own cells? How cool is that? Another example of a plant that uses nastic movement that you may have heard of is the macahia, or the shy plant. When you touch this plant, its leaves fold inwards and into itself in order to make it harder, thinner, and less attractive to predators. That's a pretty amazing way to protect yourself. Just like the Venus flytrap, it uses changes in turgor pressure in order to fold in on itself. Plants are pretty smart, aren't they? Hey Cece!
Well, we hope you've had fun today and that you have learned a lot.
By now, you should be a pro at explaining auxin and all the types of tropism. We can't wait to teach you again!